But let's go ahead and get to Mathew, man. So how did you end up connecting with Mathew, and what happened with that situation?
At the time, the gentleman and I, we were just moving around town, trying to find a way to connect. He somehow had met Mathew and the girls at that time, young ladies at that time, and his family, and took me over. We met, we sat down, talked. Mathew at the time, Mathew was very determined. Mathew had a specific goal at that time. And so he was really trying to put a team together around the girls. And this guy had the setup right there at home. He had the designer and everything else, and Tina, and then he had himself with he really had something in his hands. And obviously, from all that the girls had done at that time, people were interested. And so he liked what I had to offer, and I liked what he had on the table at the time. And so we linked up, and I just started showing up at Mathew's house, man, working all the time.
I want to stay right here for a minute, okay, because this is very important part of this chapter, because you had an opportunity to see one of the world's biggest stars, mm-hmm, at her pre-peak. Mm-hmm. But I want to touch on this because a lot of people don't know. You were there to see it. Mm-hmm. Michael Jackson had Joe Jackson. Michael was drilled. He had a drill sergeant for a daddy, mm-hmm, right? You saw Mathew in those girls firsthand. You feel like Mathew was that version of Joe Jackson to Beyonce and those girls?
I don't feel like that, because I believe you had to be there to see it. Mm-hmm. The ladies at that time, they had this desire, mm-hmm, for this. And I say this everywhere I go, even with Mathew. Mathew had a vision in his head. Mathew, he was literally on task to make the ladies larger than, at the time for him, it was during his era, the Supremes, etc. And there was a work ethic in that family. Those people could not have gotten where they got, with what they had even before the girls, even before music, without a particular work ethic. If you've never been in entertainment, or if you've never been in a situation where you really had to get after it to get what you wanted, you would look at it that way. And I think Mathew saw what it was going to take for those ladies to be successful in this particular business of entertainment. And, I think a lot of people would say, hey, he was a little too hard on them. And I don't particularly believe he was too hard on them at the time that we were doing it. It didn't seem like it was too much to me, because I had such a strong work ethic as well.